funding terror group.
Al-shabaab thing?
Go ahead, yes.
Is the biggest funder of al-shabaab, the al-Qaeda-linked terror group in Somalia, actually the Minnesota taxpayer? A federal investigator says yes. An alarming claim first reported by City Journal, which spoke with multiple former federal agents. The U.S. Attorney's Office has charged dozens of defendants across multiple schemes, including housing aid fraud, pandemic child nutrition fraud, and false billing for autism therapy. In total, prosecutors say these schemes have cost Minnesota taxpayers billions of dollars.
Billions. There are people that have legitimately could use those resources that are not getting those resources. It's past criminal.
Minnesota is home to one of the country's largest Somali communities. Former state fraud investigator Keish Magan, himself a Somali American, wrote last year that it's uncomfortable and true that nearly all defendants in these major fraud cases come from that community.
Good for him.
They've taken advantage of the most generous country in the world and one of the most generous states in that country.
And according to City Journal, some of the stolen money was sent overseas through informal cash transfer networks. Investigators say once that cash arrived in Somalia, al-Shabaab took a cut, whether the sender intended that or not.
Pretty much across the board, people that I spoke to said there really isn't a law enforcement solution to this problem. As you said, that's simply playing whack-a-mole. People pretty consistently told me that, there needs to be a policy change here.
Critics claim Minnesota leaders have tiptoed around the issue, fearing a backlash from the state's powerful Somali American voting bloc.
Pat, so you mean
there it is.
Wait a minute. Billions of tax dollars that you guys are stealing from the American taxpayer are going to a terrorist organization in another country. And how is that not headline news?
Of course. Here's the challenge. Tom brought up a good point about assimilation, right? My question is, how do you define assimilate? What does that actually mean? Sort of like a catch-all term. You got to assimilate. You know what I have a problem with? And dude, I go crazy on these people. In Miami, born and raised, Cubans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Venezuelans, who have been here for 10, 20, 30 years, no inglés. No inglés. And I drive Uber, they're all Uber drivers. They say, ¿de dónde eres? Cuba. ¿Cuántos años vive en Miami? 10 años. 10 años. ¿Hablas inglés? No. You've been living in Miami 10 years. You got no English, bro? Zero? No, señor, no. I said, but okay, to me that's horrible. I went to, we have a McDonald's right here. The lady had the worst hospitality ever and spoke no English. I said, pick one, lady. You can either have great hospitality and no English, I'll deal with you, or shitty hospitality and speak English, I'll still deal with you. You got bad hospitality and no English, get the hell out of here. So I freak out. The challenge with them, they're not assimilating, but they're not funding terrorism. Exactly. They're not burning the American flag.
Very true.
That's the biggest problem here. They're not basically funding al-Shabaab or al-Qaeda or the Free Palestine Hamas movement. I'm not worried that Haitians, maybe they're eating the cats, but which is not true, by the way. But I'm not worried that they're going to be sending money to terror networks or burning the American flag. And then that's the problem. And then the These people are looking to